Deadlock has more than 150 unique items to choose from, but not all items are made equal. Some items like Healing Right and Improved Spirit are immensely popular, but others are less so. Today I want to take a look at the 5 least popular items in Deadlock to determine what exactly makes them so unpopular. Are they just niche, or do they need some kind of buff to be relevant again? But before we get started, let's briefly discuss how I'm even figuring out what the popularity of each item is in the first place. There's this helpful website called StatLocker, and no, this is not a sponsored segment, it's a free website to use, a link will be in the description. But this website has a whole bunch of interesting data about Deadlock that it pulls directly from Deadlock's API, and that's how we're able to see what items are more or less popular on a specific hero like Abrams, or every hero in the game. And so I'm just sorting this by all heroes, and then sorting by the buy rate to see which items are being picked up the least. And this is for all ranks, not just Eternus, because Eternus simply doesn't have a lot of data, and I think it's more fun and more accessible if we do it for everybody. Alright, now let's get started with the 5th least popular item in Deadlock, and that is Veil Walker, which is an item that actually used to be meta for a time, before the devs nerfed it into the state that it's in now. This item allows you to go invisible whenever you walk through a veil just like this. It heals you, and it gives you a movement speed buff, allowing you to traverse the map easier and sneak up on your foes. And it's got a fairly low cooldown of just 15 seconds. The stats on this thing are actually quite strong. In addition to its more active effect, it also gives you 175 bonus health, which is ludicrously high for an item outside of the actual health tier of items like Fortitude and Colossus. So yeah, this thing is pretty darn strong. Invisibility is a really good mechanic, so why is this item so underutilized? Well, back when this item was meta, it simply did too much for your character. It gave you invisibility, which is a nice perk, it gave you map traversal with the movement speed buff, and the healing it gave was simply far too overtuned. It was magnitude stronger than what it is now. It starts out at 85 healing and it scales with boons right now. If I just level myself up a little bit, then I mean, I can get some healing out of this. 169, that's okay. But back in the day, we were talking hundreds of healing at this stage in the game. So it was just crazy strong, and it outperformed other items that were also supposed to give you health and healing. Now that it's in this nerfed state, it is still a pretty good item. It gives you solid traversal if you're looking for a bit more stealth, but the healing isn't nearly as strong as other healing options. And so it ends up being an item that is just more niche. Some characters still use this item, like Bomb Bebop, because it allows him to go invisible, walk through a veil, and then put a bomb on someone before they can detect him. But a character like McGinnis here simply isn't going to really benefit from it very much. And the other problem is that veils are not very flexible. You have to know where all the veils are on the map in order to actually get good, consistent use out of this and intentionally play around them. It's a playstyle changing item, and that's absolutely fine, but a lot of people just don't really want to do this, and they'd rather spend their 3.2k on an item that either gives them better traversal, gives them better defense, or gives them better healing. And in the case of healing items, some tier 2 items are just straight up better for that as well. Veil Walker has an exact dead even 50% win rate right now. That's literally as balanced as it is possible to be. So I don't think Valve actually needs to do anything to this item right now. It's just an item that is fit for certain niche playstyles, but is something that not everybody wants to pick up. The 4th least popular item in Deadlock is Return Fire, which has an active component that automatically fires a bullet towards any attacker who damages you with their abilities or weapon. But notably, that returned damage is lower than what they actually hit you with. It only returns 60% of incoming bullet damage and just 25% of incoming spirit damage. That is pretty low. This item is very cheap, and that makes it accessible, but the first problem hindering this item's popularity is just that most characters do not want to be in the line of fire in the first place. If I'm playing someone like Grey Talon, I'm trying to be away from the action, blasting people from a distance and not taking that much sustained damage. So because of that, Return Fire just won't really be doing that much damage, nor will it actually be mitigating damage at all, because the only defense this provides is 8% bullet resist, which is not even close to as much as Battle Vest. The only characters who do want to buy an item like this are characters that like to get in the thick of the action, like Abrams, and it's not terrible on Abrams, but this item just ends up being very inconsistent compared to most other defensive or offensive tools in the game. This item is primarily geared at shutting down gun builds, but most people would rather just spend a couple extra souls and get Metal Skin, which makes you completely immune to bullets. And both of these items have very similar uptime. Metal Skin's is slightly worse, but the effect is guaranteed total damage immunity for 5 seconds. When you compare it to what else is in the item shop, Return Fire just seems awful by comparison. These consistency issues, plus the fact that the item is kind of understated, leaves it at a paltry 41% win rate. Ouch, that is awful. This item is not an item you should be picking up if you want to win at this time. I think it has the wrong combination of being both a niche item that's only meant for tanks and also just being a blatantly bad pickup right now. It's simply not strong enough. The third worst item in Deadlock is another Vitality item, and I promise, it's the last Vitality item we'll be talking about today. And this item is none other than Weapon Shielding, which might come as a shock because Spirit Shielding is reasonably popular and reasonably effective. Why does Weapon Shielding suck by comparison? It's even more mystifying when you actually take a look at the difference in stats. You'll notice that Weapon Shielding actually has a lower cooldown and a longer time frame to activate than Spirit Shielding. It requires 25 more damage to hit the threshold, but otherwise this should actually have improved uptime over Spirit Shielding. So what's the catch? Why aren't people buying this? Well, the reason is because of a fundamental difference in how weapon damage and spirit damage are applied in most cases. You see, spirit damage often comes in some kind of burst, whether it's Calico's bombs, Viscus's splatter, Lady Geist's bomb, Paradox's carbine. All of those do a bunch of damage up front and will instantly proc the spirit shielding exactly when you want it to, whereas weapon damage is damage over time. It's inconsistent in the sense that, well, you get hit with a lot of small instances of damage rather than one big instance of damage, and fall off also plays a big factor in that. If I'm shooting someone from all the way over here, then it's going to take forever to build up weapon shielding, whereas a bomb doesn't actually have fall off and it will apply the spirit shielding basically instantly. And so that leads to spirit shielding just being so much more effective in most circumstances. But the second reason why weapon shielding is an unpopular item right now is because the stats are just kind of bad. Take a look at this win rate. That's pretty bad. 40% win rate. This is actually the lowest win rate out of any item we're discussing today. But also spirit shielding isn't doing much better. Its popularity has also diminished and its win rate is only 46%. Still substantially higher than weapon shielding, but it's just kind of bad. These items have been nerfed a lot. They used to be crazy meta, especially when they scaled with spirit power, but now they're in a much more reasonably balanced state, and they often get overshadowed by Enchanter's Emblem and Battle Vest, which are the damage reduction counterparts in the tier 2 category. These are just really good right now, and so people feel less inclined to buy these barriers. The second least popular item in Deadlock is Magic Carpet, which is a tier 4 item that is actually quite strong. It gives you a ridiculously powerful movement ability that allows you to just soar across the skies and reposition across the map incredibly quickly. It's better than just about every other movement ability in the game in terms of just raw traversal. And unlike Majestic Leap, you can actually use this even if you're getting shot at. You just can't use any abilities while you're soaring, otherwise it'll cancel the Magic Carpet. Furthermore, this item just gives you really good stats. It grants 15% ability duration for all of your abilities. That's basically like Duration Extender, except slightly lower duration, but applied to every ability instead of just one. And it also gives you 14 spirit power, which is almost the same amount as improved spirit. And as if that wasn't enough, you also get 125 bonus health, because why not? This item actually has really good synergy with a lot of characters too. On Calico, while using Ava, she can go exceptionally fast because of Ava's percent-based movement speed bonus. Seven can also buy Magic Carpet and take advantage of the spirit power and ability duration while covering his weaknesses as a relatively slow character. He can use this to escape from a fight he doesn't want to be in, or position himself for a massive ultimate. So why on earth then is this item so unpopular? Well, I think it comes down to the fact that it is a tier 4 item. It is very expensive, and when you're looking to make a big purchase like this, you usually want a power spike that's going to drastically improve your lethality, or give you a massive amount of defense in the case of a vitality item. And Magic Carpet doesn't really do that. The stats are nice, but it is primarily a traversal tool more than anything else, and that can add some lethality to your character in different ways. Sneaking up on people, flying around the map, being in 2 places at once because you have so much mobility are all great perks to have, but it's never going to hit as hard on a spirit build as something like Boundless Spirit, Echo Shard, Escalating Exposure, Mystic Reverb, Spirit Burn, or any of these other items. It's the opportunity cost that makes this item harder to justify than other tier 4s, as well as the fact that you kind of have to get creative with the Magic Carpet in order to get value in your matches. It's not just a straight number increase or damage increase like so many other items are. But this item clearly is not bad. It has a 56% win rate, and it can be very good if you know how to synergize it with your character. So it's definitely worth picking up and experimenting with. I think this item is one of those items that just has a lot of untapped potential. And finally, the least popular item in all of Deadlock is Shadow Weave, which is a gun item that allows you to become invisible, similar to Veil Walker, except you aren't restricted to veils. You can cast this whenever you want, and the invisibility lasts for much longer. However, it doesn't provide you with the same healing or movement speed buff that Veil Walker does. Instead, it gives you a massive damage bonus once you attack out of stealth. This gives you 32% extra fire rate, 35 extra spirit power, and 25% extra melee damage. It really is the perfect tool for ambushing somebody who doesn't expect you to go invisible because, well, you're not playing Haze. So, yeah, it seems pretty powerful on paper. Why is nobody buying this item? Well, I think it's in a similar place to Magic Carpet, where the stats are not bad at all, but it comes at the opportunity cost of getting other tier 4 items that are more useful for a wider variety of builds. And while you get big bonuses to all of your damage types, most builds only care about 1 or 2 of these stats, and if you're playing a gun build, for example, 32% fire rate is nice, but you can actually get more than that just by buying Burst Fire, which is half the cost and gives you 32% with the passive plus 10% fire rate permanently. If you're playing a spirit build, then why not just buy Boundless Spirit, which gives you 30 spirit power and 15% to your entire spirit power stat. Plus, it gives you a lot of spirit power from investment, which is something that Shadow Weave does not. The melee damage is enticing because there's not much of that in the game, but the cost still makes it a tough sell, especially when your other option for melee damage is Crushing Fists. And I mean, come on, this wins every time. So it ends up being an item that's in a difficult situation because it's extremely powerful, but a lot of characters just want other power spikes instead of Shadow Weave. It's kind of the ultimate luxury or playstyle defining item, and it's a playstyle that not too many people are interested in playing right now. That being said, this is by no means a weak item. As a matter of fact, it has a staggering 60% win rate right now, which is ludicrous. Of course, the people using this item are, at this point, probably just experts who specialize in using Shadow Weave, and so naturally they're going to be boosting the win rate up a little bit. But I still think that this item has by far the most untapped potential out of any item we've discussed today, and I would recommend experimenting with it a little bit to see if you can find something cool with the item, because I'm sure that there are a lot of crazy synergies with this item that we just haven't discovered yet. It's an item item that encourages creativity, and creativity is hard. It's a lot easier to just play Haze and buy all the fire rate items, but I think it has the potential to be very rewarding in the hands of someone who actually learns how to use it. But what do you think about the least popular items in Deadlock? Do you agree with my analysis on why they're so unpopular, or do you think there's something that I've missed? Let me know in the comment section down below, and let me know if you use any of these items on a daily basis. There's gotta be someone out there who's a devout magic carpet user, right? But anyways, if you guys have enjoyed this video, of course make sure to drop a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos from me. And with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. I will see you all next time. Peace out.